Hello, 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 beautiful people. How are you? Dr. Doula here. This is the absolute craziest description that's the only thing I could think of, even though I won't be necessarily talking about weight. But I want to talk about weight in a way that we don't necessarily think about it. And I'll start with the external weight. Now, whenever this is one of those times where I have something I really want to share, and I'm praying, I'm saying, okay, I really want to share it. I really want to offer a lifeline. I really want to encourage somebody's day. I really want to. And so I'm really trusting Creator and Spirit in me to say what needs to be said. I'll start with the weight. Now, so here's the nerdy girl, right? How many of y'all know that weight loss is chemistry in the body? You know how we talk about burn that fat, burn it, tone those muscles. How many people really know? And you can look it up. Weight loss is associated with chemistry. Now, you must know there were certain subjects when I was in school and in college that I never earned less than like a 98 or 96% for the entire year or semester. Chemistry and geometry is one of them. But I will not, because it's been 30 plus years, I will not seek to break that down in that way. But what I'm going to encourage you to do, if you don't know it already, go look up the whole science. It's very recent, actually. It's amazing we hadn't just figured it out before. We lose weight, and I'm not talking about with medications and stuff. We lose weight because of the breath. Did you know it? Did you know that? The breath, it's a chemical reaction in our body. You know, everything is about the elements and chemistry and everything. Look it up after you finish watching me talk. Look it up. It is a chemical reaction in the body. And as we breathe, that fat is converted into carbon dioxide. And it leaves the body. It's quite the thing. It's quite the thing because of how we associate with weight loss. I find it intriguing that it is associated with the breath. I find it intriguing because of what the breath means to the body. I find it intriguing because there's so many other systems that are at play or not at play when we are thinking about the breath. So I put up there, what did I say? I said reasons why I'm overweight. Well, you know, one of the reasons why we experience having more weight on our body is because we don't allow our body to go through its cycles. Okay? Everything is not nutrition, and everything is not about a medication or even the body type. Some of it is. That's why we still have these videos and people are like, oh my gosh, they really get around good for it. You know, we have body types. You know, everybody's not going to be really, really, really thin. And everybody's not going to be really short. Everybody's not going to be a certain way. But it is associated with the breath. The parasympathetic nervous system. Do you know about that? I know we know about it, but have you thought about it? The difference between us being in a state of rest and digest or fight, flight, and freeze is all about what's going on in the body. And do you know one of the major components of that is the first gift we were given when we came this side, the breath, taking our own breath. When we are in fight or flight or freeze, very shallow breaths, very shallow. We aren't ready. There are even kidney functions and things that happen. They're parts of what happens when we are dealing in a state of rest and digest. The parasympathetic nervous system is doing its thing, trying to say, bring me back to homeostasis, bring me back to balance. Our natural state should be balance, not I'm ready. But so many of us, not just because if you grew up on the street, some of us feel like it's a fight, flight, or a freeze if we go to the office. We live in these places like, hey, early bird gets the worm. Hey, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for that. You ain't going to get That's how we go. We stay on ready. I can speak for me. I stay on ready. My husband say, you are always on. That is the sympathetic nervous system that's telling us, oh, there's an emergency. We need to, what we need to do, who we need to deal with, who we need to be. But what we don't understand and don't really realize, and I know we say it, but the fight, flight, or freeze was not intended for long term. Because we've made it a major part of our days, we miss the rest and digest. So what is happening? Your digestive system, when does it work? It works while you resting and sleeping. When is your body saying, oh, okay, I get to bring everything back? So what if you're holding on to stuff because, not just because, you like sweets or you like pizza or whatever, but what if you never, on top of all of that, what if the fact that you never get into a deep sleep is affecting your health? They talk about the sleep. Really look it up. The way we lose weight, the way that weight leaves, it's a chemical reaction in the body. We think that it's like, if I pump, muscle's going to take the place. No, it's the breath. That is the most amazing thing to me. The creator's like, I have so many things I'm going to give them in these human bodies. If they just breathe right, I'll bless them. Do you know that there are actual practices that people have? And it's not, there is a difference between, just think when you run to a room and you're like, there's a difference between that top lung and really going down to your diaphragm. And the fact that we have a diaphragm that's seeking a hold and hold that breath, because there are other body functions depending on us breathing. Some of the reason why we are not in our optimal health, why we're not experiencing things a certain ways, because they're things firing off because we're ready for a fight. We ready. Our blood pressure. Why? Well, okay, so I gotta get more to the heart. I gotta get something going to the heart. What's gonna happen? We gotta be ready to move. We gotta be ready. Move that blood to the extremities. Come on, we gotta be ready. There's an emergency. There's something that's gonna happen. Literally, because we are not taking the time to breathe when we feel that anxiety, and allow ourselves to come back to homeostasis, to come back to the calmness, to the rest, to the place where we can hear what the solutions are, because we always have solutions. There's always an answer for us, but we are not coming back to this place of rest. When we sleep, and let me tell you, so for me, this is a big deal, because I had a moment after, 1 year or something, where I realized that I had gone years as a mom and having my children, because I had one, and 2 years later I had another, then 5 years later I had another, and then 2 years later I had another. I realized that I had not slept more than 3 hours at a time. Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for being on. So I had spent this big swath of my life not really sleeping. If it wasn't because the baby was crying, or I had a late one that went to bed late and one that got up really early, and I had to figure it out. But I wasn't sleeping more than 3 hours at a time. And I just considered it as normal. It's what moms do. It's how life is. And then I hear people that glorify. It's like, hey, you don't need that much sleep. And I get it. If a person, I get it. I'm not talking about people not motivated in their purpose and just doing nothing. I'm not there. Just stay here. Stay here with me. The fact that we normalize not allowing our bodies to rest when that's when our bodies rejuvenate themselves. The fact that we glorify those who don't need more than 4 hours of sleep when there's some that wish they could. I remember when I wished I could sleep. and not have to breastfeed somebody, and not have to get somebody to the potty, and not have to, I even rose early with my husband. I would, make sure that I got him off for the day. And because he was working in construction and as a superintendent, he was up at 3:30 in the morning, and he was leaving by 4:30 or 5. And I was up, and I remember my spiritual mentor, she asked a very benign question. She said, "Are you a morning person or night person?" And I got so irate and upset about it because I didn't know. I could tell you about each of my children. I could tell you about my husband, but I could not tell you about myself, because I was for everybody else. I did not rest. The thing is, your body digests, and it actually is regenerating, and cells are being built up. The body needs rest. Now, I know the thing says I'm talking about weight, but there's also that part with weight. Do you know that, first of all, think about all of the different conditions that are based around your weight. I want you to take that first, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, all these different things based on weight. Okay, stay there. And now, I don't know if you know this, but they talk about the stress of it all, right? The fight, flight, or freeze. And it's like, oh, so like, here it is, adrenaline sitting right over the kidneys saying, oh, we got to get ready. 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 Shoot it off. We need all this. We need all these things, epinephrine, no, this kind of ephrin, these hormones, everything is moving because we got to be ready. We got to stay ready. We got to stay ready. Everything is not because we failed a diet plan. Everything is not because we did some of this. Do you understand that even some of the ways we're eating, some of the things that we're consuming are just pacifying us because we just want to be loved on? Do you get that? I'm saying this in like all love. There are things that we're doing because we never rest enough to feel what we feel. What do I feel? What do I want? It doesn't matter what I want, because I have to go pick up this one. Oh God, 2 hours, but I need to wash those clothes. And then I need to do, I need to do this, and then I need to do that. And there's so many things that I need to do. I get it. I know the world we live in. I live right here with you. But there's so many things that are happening because we won't allow. Do you know the gift that the body that has been given us? We won't stop. We won't rest. We won't hey Diaz, we won't stop. When is the body digesting? No wonder. It's like, oh yeah, I need a colonic, I need a whatever. Right, because for many of us, and look, I'm not being funny here. Like I said, I realized I wasn't sleeping more than 3 hours at a time for many years because of my children. But you have people that work the night shift. I think circadian rhythm is all off, and so because we live in the world we live in, there's so many things that we don't have the direct control over. But the breath. I know it feels good. And I can actually bring that into myself. I can actually choose to bring that into myself with the breath. Slowing down the breath. When I'm like, oh God, pause. Do you know sometimes when you go to the doctor and your blood pressure's up and it's up for no reason? I asked somebody that I love, they were like, the doctors turned the light off and said, I'm going to come back to take your blood pressure in 10 minutes. Turned the light off and said, lay on the table. Came back in and their blood pressure was fine. Do you understand what is happening when we stay in fight, flight, or freeze? When we stay in this in this way that keeps us going, that keeps us going, that keeps us going. Our body is waiting to come back to balance. Our body is saying, when will I be able to come back to balance? Our body is saying, when will I get a chance to breathe? But here we are waiting for other people to give us a breather. Give me a break. When we have set up these systems of ways of being in our lives that do not serve our highest and best. Now, maybe at 20 and 25, I had this endurance where nothing touched me, honey. I could go, I could be, I could whatever. But check out the hairs, y'all. I'm a little older now. A little more wisdom going on here. And with that, you can either keep going. You know, I remember a minister saying, a pastor saying once, this is who do you give the work to when you need something to get done in the church? I remember a boss, an employer saying the same thing. They said you give it to the one that's already doing and get stuff done because you know that they're going to get the stuff done. Now listen to me. In all love, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. We are dependable. I'm not going to let anything fall. I'm sold out for this thing I'm a part of. I get it. And then I'm also going to say, but what's going on with you? But what's going on with you? What I realized when my mother was every woman, did everything. Me and my two sisters, all of us meshed together, don't amount to anything. But when I was 21 and she passed away and transitioned to the ancestral realm, 3 months before my graduation from college, Tuskegee University, 3 months before my wedding day, there was a classroom. She was a math teacher. She taught me geometry. That's why I love it so much. There was a classroom and computer science. Room 113 was my mom's room and had been my mom's room our entire lives. When my mom passed away, guess what? Somebody else had to go in that room. They didn't set up a shrine. There was another teacher placed in that room. And believe it or not, that was the hardest part. That life was going to keep going. So while you're busy being the one to answer everybody's question and everybody's problem and doing everything that everybody needs, life is going to go on. Whether you choose to sleep, whether you choose to rest, or whether you choose to breathe and give yourself a minute or not, life will go on. Our children will continue to go on, get jobs, fall in love, move around the cabin freely, whether we choose to breathe, to rest, to sleep, to allow our bodies to come back into balance or not. I have comments. I haven't read any of them. Jennifer said, clearly I need this message today because my nutritionist said the same things about how I need to sleep this morning. Oh my gosh. Wow. You know, when I do these, I always say, if there's just one person that it benefits, that blesses my soul. And you blessed my soul today because I couldn't figure out, why am I talking about this? I'm on my own journey. What am I talking about? But I'm doing the things that I'm talking about, so I don't feel bad about it. DS says that's exactly what I'm doing these days with my sleep. I think some of it is because I'm perimenopausal. These shifts and changes that come in our lives, these seasons that come when we shift from one season, especially as a woman, to another season, they are with purpose. They serve a purpose. Like there's a reason. They're supposed to signal something to us. But we're so busy trying to prove to everybody, whatever, even the way we enter male-dominated spaces as women is like, instead of bringing all the glory of the woman, we come in almost as if I'll show that I can do what's done here. Like there are things that we're supposed to be mindful of. And then she says, but most of it is stress. I've never totally relaxed as far as I can remember. And sis, that's a thing. That's a thing. That's a real thing. Hi, Cindy. When we are talking about what we are here to do. The Creator placed more. God didn't leave us down here totally defenseless. Like we have an opportunity to take better care of our wellness ourselves. And notice, while I did say weight, it's because so many things end up showing up as weight. Stress, that DS mentioned, shows up as weight. That's what it shows up as. Running around, like you would think that the person that was the busiest should be the thinnest, right? No, because everything we do is fast. I'm eating fast. And I noticed that, like, I've really been praying, my own personal thing. I've been like, okay, I want to change how I'm eating. Okay, Creator, all right, Spirit, help me. And I want, I haven't gone drastic, like take the taste out of my mouth. That's not it. But it's like, I know that what we consume is intended to nourish us. And I recognize that I have not always used it that way. There are times when I just want to taste this thing because there's something in it. Like for me, I don't like cold vegetables. I don't believe that. Like cold raw vegetables don't. There was somebody that said don't say that and whatever. I was talking to a person that was plant-based, totally plant-based one year during the pandemic, and I was saying, look, I do not like cold salads, cold this, it doesn't, and I said it doesn't feel like love to me. And he was like, well, don't say that. But I'm allowing myself to be honest with myself so I can get to what does feel good to me. Because I'm not just talking about like what our taste buds are taking in and stuff like that, but what feels good. What like right now I have all my windows open and I can feel the breeze. That feels good to me. This is like, this is a deep breath. This feels good. And then there are things that I eat that feel cozy. A nice soup, a salad that's not cold out of the fridge, but one that's actually like you pulled it out of the ground. That's like room temperature. I like that. I like that. Like, what do I like? What feels good? Resting, allowing my body to digest, allowing my body, to feel what it feels to be empty and to need nourishment. All of those things are mattering. And all of those things are affecting our health. So a person can have certain ailments and not have any kind of symptoms that go along with, obesity or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you'll look up and once again, it's like, wow, wait a minute. This person ran every day. They worked out every day. I don't get it. What's going on? I don't understand. Of course we don't understand. Because there's more going on here than how much you did some active work. Yes, I did this. Your body needs time to be regenerated. Your body needs time to say, are we still in an emergency? Do I still need to get ready to run? To return everything back, the blood back to the center core of us, where it's nourishing us in this particular way. And nobody can do that for us but us. So while we're complaining and saying, it's just not enough time and not enough hours in the day, we all get the same ones. One of the most powerful things for us can turn out to be the word no. No. I love that no is no in so many languages. It can turn out that is the best thing we can do for ourselves, is to listen before we are looking. And I get it. Some of what we do is based in validation and, so-and-so needs me and everything else. But like I said about my mom, when you are not there, do you really think that somebody else is going to be there? Most of what we're doing is because we're getting some type of approval from it. Validation. I like the title that's on my name. I like when they give me hugs and kisses. My babies, I love it when my husband is sitting there and he's so pleased. As long as you're paying attention to all of you as well. As long as, it's one thing to not know. It's one thing to not know you need, but we're grown folks, right? When we learn better, we do better. I'm not saying that all the rest is not important. But the first gift, when we came out of our mother's womb, they were looking for us. They were looking for the breath. They wanted us to breathe. I believe the breath. My husband, Coach Jeannie, talks about it so much. He talks about breath in so many different ways all the time. That is like his passion. The breath is his passion. I am saying that so much of us is tied up into whether we are willing to breathe. Hey, Jennifer. Will we settle ourselves down? You know, we sit there and we say, oh, the baby has to learn how to self-soothe. And we don't want the baby crying and screaming and all this other stuff because it's like, oh, you need to learn how to self-soothe. Well, we've learned how to self-soothe, but some of this stuff is not good for us. And some of us just stay busy so we don't have to feel what we really feel and make changes that we need to make in our lives. But my encouragement to you today is sit. I was going to say, sit your whatever down. Sound somewhere. Some of us grew up with paradigms where it's like if you're sitting and doing nothing, you're being lazy. And you're going to run and run and run because of what grandma said and whoever, and you need to be doing something at all times. And that's fine. I don't judge you. I'm not judging. But I am saying all the people you want to be here for. Hey, Kelly. All the people you want to be here for. If you're not here, if you're not whole, what are you going to do? All the stuff you want to do. So let your body come on down. Tell yourself we ain't fighting right now. You ain't got, eyes dilated, letting more light in, because it's like we got to be ready. We got to see what's coming. Blood going to the extreme, staying here, not being in the body. Not circulating in the core of us where our major organs are, because the blood is going to our extremities. Did I say before, parasympathetic is the one that we want? You know what? I'm not going to even lie to y'all. I look up the etymology of words because I try to remember. I have no clear understanding why parasympathetic is at rest and sympathetic nervous system is the fight, flight, or freeze. I have no idea, but I get it wrong all the time. So if I said it wrong, whatever. I don't have to hold that in my head. I can look it up. This is what I did want to say. There are things that happen in the body. When you're resting, your body is digesting. Your body is building new cells. When you go into deep sleep, that breath I was talking about, when you sleep and you're breathing from your diaphragm, literally the chemical reaction of getting rid of fat cells is happening. It is not because you built muscle, baby. You tore the muscle and it came back stronger. That's what happens when we're weightlifting, we're doing things. When we put a strain on it, the muscles they do their own kind of thing where they have to repair themselves. That's why we get sore. We get sore because in order to build the muscle, it builds because it's repairing, whatever. That's the thing. Breathe. Go to sleep. Rest. It shouldn't always be that we need somebody to tell us when. It's like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm just going to go to the doctor. At what point will we be like, wait a minute, okay, I felt that before because they did tell me what that was. That means y'all have to stop. I have so much respect. I was doing something with somebody I really admired, and they had told me they were going to help me do something, and then when I said, okay, you ready to show me? She said, you know what, honestly, I'm sorry, I don't have it left in me. And my little feelings were hurt, they were hurt, but I had so much respect for her. I did. And she ended up showing me a little, but she didn't go into detail. She had poured out so much. And I was waiting for everybody else. And I said, okay, now you can show me. She said, I'm pretty done. And I was like, man. And yeah, my little feelings got hurt. But I was like, I see what she did there. I need to do that more. When you allow your body to be, when you allow yourself to feel and be in your body fully, and feel what's happening in your body, like right now, like take a moment and see, are you breathing deeply? Like just stop for a second. What is your breath like? Like while I'm talking, I'm very shallow with it. I was asking y'all, but then I'm like, well, what am I doing? So let me take a breath. That does more than you can imagine. It's telling your body, hey, we're good. And nobody can do that for you but you. We're grown-ups here. We have a personal responsibility to take over our health and our wholeness. I'm on my own journey. I'm not judging anybody. But it was in my heart and I wanted to share, so I did. There are things that your body will do for you because it's always seeking to heal itself. Can you imagine? Always seeking to heal itself. There are things that yes, okay, so eat better, eat this, exercise. Okay, got it. There are things that your body wants to do for you just because it's how it was made. We tend to think that our bodies are working against us. They are not. They are trying to work for us. And we just need to align and give it what it needs. Your body needs time to sleep. Whatever is disturbing your sleep. I had to become really, like, I wake up now, when I sleep for 7 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I slept for 7 hours. I am so excited because I can feel it in my body. I can feel that I slept for 7 hours and not catnapping in the middle of the night. Give your body what it needs. You're most welcome, Jennifer. I appreciate you being on here today. And for anyone else who watches, I pray that this is blessing, a confirmation, and whatever else it can be for you, outside of judgment, because that's not what it is intended for. We all have our areas that we're working on, but just because we are in this world and we're in this place, we have to understand that outside of anything external, our body is seeking to work for us. Our body is saying, let me help you. Let me help you calm your thoughts. Let me help and regenerate this body for you. Our body is always working for us. And when we truly embody it and we truly take that in, then there's help. Once again, celestial help. Once again, Creator is like, I didn't leave you by yourself. Once again, we are not here doing it by ourselves. But we must come into ourselves, feel what we feel, allow ourselves to be. And not always focus on doing. I love y'all so much. Nothing you can do about it. So many blessings to you. So many blessings. Mwah. Bye.